But let's take you out to Los Angeles, where for now the third straight week in a row, wildfires are continuing to burn. This is a camera in cooperation with UC San Diego, but we are looking at new fires burning tonight in Los Angeles. This video recorded in just the last 3 hours. This is a 3-hour time lapse, and watch as this fire grows into thousands of additional acres as this wind-driven fire near Los Angeles grows in intensity. We also have fires burning tonight and throughout the day near San Diego. Jared, it was a couple weeks, 3 weeks ago on this show. We were talking about what we learned at IBHS. We were talking about the Santa Ana winds, and you were telling us you have family in California. They are in San Diego, you shared with us. How are they doing tonight?
Good news is that no news is good news. San Diego is a pretty large metro area, and most of my family is away from it. So that's great news. Happy to hear that. But certainly, certainly a very scary situation unfolding there. If there's one bit of good news, is that there is a pattern change coming, and they may actually have some rain finally moving back into Southern California at some point next week. See how that evolves. But they need it badly. This is their rainy season. This is not typically fire season. I think that's the one thing that is important to note. This is usually when Southern California gets its rain. That has not happened at
No, they
all.
are so incredibly behind on rainfall, and have been experiencing just these out of control winds, that is just causing quite the strange on firefighters and on residents. Los Angeles being such an interesting town, of course, home to Hollywood, home to so many TV cameras. We hope to not see fires like this anywhere, but on our show a week or so ago, we were recalling the fire in Tennessee some years back, right, near Dollywood, and we were kind of talking about how that fire still has scars on the ground there in Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, but it wasn't home to television broadcast networks or Hollywood studios, so the visuals didn't penetrate into the news the same way these fires in Los Angeles do. And I bring that up, guys, because I don't know if you've encountered this in your own content consumption, but so many of the shows that we watch and we listen to were either canceled or postponed or had to relocate. I was listening to Conan O'Brien Has a Friend. I don't know if you guys are familiar, of course, with the late night host Conan O'Brien, and his longtime personal assistant who does the podcast with him lost her home in the fire. And so suddenly all these people who we don't know, you don't know them, but they feel like people because they're in these different pieces of media you watch or you listen to,
Mm.
are very humanized all of a sudden because, we keep saying thousands of residents have been evacuated. And it's a unique microcosm where some of these thousands of residents are celebrities and we're hearing from them in ways that we wouldn't hear from them if these fires happened anywhere else. Tom, have you heard that in any of your entertainment consumption in your everyday life?
Well, I was just seeing here that there's 19,000 new residents that have been evacuated because of this new fire. So it goes to your point that this is affecting so many people. I've seen so many stories on social media, some where just everyday people are getting reunited with family or pets. There was one where this guy was reunited with his dog after several days, and
Yeah.
just to see this again and to see just that the image that you had there, the video of that fire growing over the course of 3 hours just goes to show how serious this is, and how so many people are gonna continue to need our help as they rebuild from this.
Yeah, and by no means do I want to make this it's all about the celebrities story, but those are people who have platforms and microphones
Yeah.
that the average person doesn't have.
Mm,
And so to hear some of these stories is just really, really fascinating to
mm.
me. Jared, what goes through your mind each day as you're looking at these headlines?
You know, fire is one of the things that I'm glad I don't have to deal with out here. Give me a hurricane, I can see it coming 5 days in advance. These fires spark up out, with very little advance warning, and then they burn 9,000 acres in a matter of hours. That's
Yeah.
It's such a scary thing. I have I have friends in LA who have been, which I've been communicating with, and they're okay. But to get pictures of fires from their window, fortunately moving away from them, and then talking to them about evacuating, I mean, that hits hard. There's a human toll at the end of the day. It's going to be a little bit more, James, as you said, it's going to be a little bit more, front and center, because a lot of these are landmarks that, we're familiar
Hmm.
with,
Yeah.
through popular culture, through, kind of living legends, so to speak. But there's real people here too. I mean, there's,
Yeah.
think about everybody, just the people who live there day to day. Um, it's a Los Angeles is massive. It's a massive metro area, and you hate it. You just hate it. And I feel like that. Uh, Again, just the best thing we can do is hope for a pattern change in rain, and it does look like that might be in the offing here, but that's not going to help us right now. Um, but uh, but we need it. I mean, the crazy thing too, James, is that I look at all this and it's like I'm reminded how all this is connected.
Yeah.
Um, the ridge in the west and the trough in the east is a big reason why we're dealing with some of the weather that we talked about in the first half of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like week after week, we're like, Santa Ana winds, big winds in California. We got this low and this high, and they're making these winds. And oh, by the way, that low's coming this way, and we're gonna feel it as snow. Which I'd much rather, obviously, feel it as snow than these devastating winds. But it has been quite something to watch. Mitchell on YouTube, prayers for your family.
Thank you.
I hope they stay safe, as do we all, and all the people there in coastal California. I hope a situation like this does not come to the Carolinas or elsewhere, and if it ever were to unfortunately happen, I hope we continue to see the outpouring of support that we're seeing in California elsewhere